The rainy bus stop promise. The city of Portland was wrapped in soft rain. People hurried through the streets with umbrellas, trying not to get soaked. But one old bus stop remained almost empty. Every evening at exactly 7 p.m., Daniel Carter, a 31-year-old musician, waited there after work. Not for the bus, for inspiration. He believed every rainy evening carried a song waiting to be written. One Tuesday, a young woman rushed beneath the shelter, completely drenched by the rain. She laughed at herself as she shook the water from her hair. Daniel smiled. "You lost the battle with the weather." She laughed. "The weather won, but I still have my coffee." Her name was Grace Miller, a 29-year-old kindergarten teacher. The bus was delayed for 40 minutes. Neither of them minded. They talked about music, books, favorite childhood memories, and the strange comfort of rainy days. When the bus finally arrived, Grace accidentally left her blue scarf on the bench. Daniel picked it up. "Wait!" She turned around and smiled. "Keep it, so I'll have a reason to see you again." The next evening, Daniel returned. Grace was already there. "So, did you bring my scarf?" Daniel smiled. "I almost forgot." She laughed. "I knew you wouldn't." From that day on, every rainy evening became theirs. Sometimes they shared one umbrella. Sometimes they walked home in the rain on purpose. Grace loved listening to Daniel play guitar. Daniel loved watching Grace laugh at the smallest things. One evening, Grace said, "You know what's funny?" "What?" "I don't remember the last time I checked the bus schedule." Daniel smiled. "Neither do I." Months passed. One autumn morning, Grace received exciting news. She had been offered a teaching position at a prestigious school in Boston. It was the opportunity she had dreamed of. But accepting it meant leaving Portland, leaving Daniel. For days, neither of them talked about it. On Grace's final evening in the city, heavy rain covered the streets once again. They met at the same old bus stop. Daniel reached into his backpack. He pulled out the blue scarf she had left behind on the very first day. Wrapped inside it was a small wooden music box. Grace slowly opened it. The melody that played was the very first song Daniel had written after meeting her. He looked into her eyes. "I wrote hundreds of songs before I met you, but you're the only one who became my favorite melody." He knelt on one knee. "Grace Miller, will you miss every bus with me for the rest of our lives?" Grace smiled through tears. "I've been waiting for that question since the day I left my scarf behind." 1 year later, they were married at that very bus stop. The city transformed it into a beautiful little wedding venue filled with white flowers and warm lights. Instead of wedding favors, every guest received a tiny blue scarf tied with a handwritten note. Sometimes love doesn't arrive on time because it wants you to meet the right person first. Years later, whenever it rained, Daniel and Grace still walked to that old bus stop, not because they needed a bus, but because that's where two strangers learned that the most beautiful journeys begin when life makes you wait.